Hello, Josh.
There he is.
What's up?
What's
Hey.
happening? What's going on?
Living the dream.
Yes, you are.
All right, we'll get right into it so Mitch can fanboy out. Our next guest is a legendary performer, part of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of the last 20 years. These guys are so good. Honestly, one of my favorite concerts I've saw in the last couple of years as well was at the was in Montreal on where was it, Mitch? It was the Fairmont, right? We saw them at the Fairmont.
Yeah.
On the bus.
Right by the bagels.
Yep. Brand new album called Hellbound coming out on June 25th. Welcome to the show, Mr. Josh Todd. There he is. Look at the man.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. You guys got your shit together with your green screens and all of it. I like it.
Mitch is know. This is the real deal behind me.
Yeah, that's a real deal, but
wow.
Yeah, I've got a proper studio. Mitch is the imposter here.
Yes, when we if you remember, Josh, we sat on the bus and I introduced you to Jeremy a couple of years ago. He's Montreal's #1 on-air personality. We were talking about how to get Buckcherry songs on the radio. That was the conversation back then, but this one shouldn't be so difficult with Hellbound because and here comes my fanboy moment. I have bought every album. I have a 230 song playlist in my phone of all the Buckcherry and all the other stuff you've done. And this is probably, and I don't mean to insult the other albums, the best album since 15 and even on par with 15. This is a motherfucker. I mean, excuse the language, but this is great.
I'm so happy you said that because I can't say that because I'm promoting it, but I think if it's not the best Buckcherry record, it's definitely up there with the best. And, it just was, it just magically, we just had some great synergy. I felt like our backs were against the wall with COVID and the loss of the whole, year of touring. And so we had to shift gears and this was not a planned thing. And so we worked really, really hard on this record. We had the time and really paid off. We wrote about 28 songs for a 10-song record, and it's just, it's a great listen from beginning to end.
It really is a great listen because I was checking it out and I mean, can I just say, like, you guys have such great production value, like even live and like the new music videos, like for Hellbound, it's so good. Like everything sounds awesome, everything looks awesome. So I just got to compliment on you guys on that because not a lot of bands invest in the image anymore, and you guys still care, and I appreciate that. And I got to say, the new music video for Hellbound and the song specifically is badass. Like, it's Francis is doing his best Phil Rudd in there. It's like.
Yeah, it's great. We came out with a 1-2 punch. So Hot was the first one, and such a great video as well, and great song. And then we were chomping at the bit to like release Hellbound because we've been sitting on this record since October 2020. It's been done, so for everybody to hear Hellbound finally, it's like one of my favorite all-time Buckcherry songs. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean. It's so good to hear you still performing at such a level. I mean, your vocal performances on this record are absolutely phenomenal. Like, and so the fact you hit that so hot, like it's so good, man. Like, Mitch isn't like. See, now I'm fanboying now, Mitch. Look at me.
Well, you should certainly fanboy. Let me get away from that for a second.
Chorus, that was hot.
Well, That was hot, yeah. But let me ask you about this because the band has gone through different changes. When you got rid of sort of the original band and went to 15, we sort of went, what's going to happen? What happened was a fantastic record, one of the best. Yes. And then you brought in Billy Rowe, you brought in Francis, and we went, what's going to happen? And here it is, one of the best. So first of all, let's talk about those new members and what they bring to the mix. And does that mean that in like 4 albums from now, you're going to replace them to have another moment?
No, Francis isn't new. Billy Rowe's the only new guy. Francis has been with us almost 5 years now.
Right, but it's the first album he's played on.
No, he played on Warpaint. Yeah.
Did he?
Yep. Francis played on Warpaint, and he's been around a while. And Billy's the newest guy. He was in a long time band, Jet Boy. And
great band.
He's a veteran, and Kevin Rankin, he didn't want to tour anymore. He wanted to be home with his family after COVID hit and said that was it for him. And so, we had to respect that. There's nothing we could do, and so Stevie had a good relationship with Billy, and he was kind of on our radar the whole time, and I said, hey, you're vouching for him. I know I've heard his band. And so let's just go out to breakfast and see if we like each other. You know what I mean? Because that's really what it comes down to, because we gotta live in close quarters, spend a lot of time with each other being on the road. And man, he's just such a nice person, and very easygoing, and a great guitar player, and just from our generation as well, really understands and gets Buckcherry, and likes it, and that's really important. So we're having a good time with him, and this will be his first proper tour with us, so it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it is going to be Jet Boy, one of the forgotten bands of the '80s that were just fantastic, and he adds such a great dimension. Talk to me a little bit about how then do you go out to promote this? Because you have a tour set up. Canada is still sort of iffy on whether or not you can come here. Do you sort of just play the shows in the States and hope for the world to open up at this point?
That's kind of the mentality, but I mean, we know that the vaccinations are starting to get distributed more and more in Canada and Europe and the UK, and I think by the time that we get to those territories, that it's gonna be good. We're all vaccinated, band and crew, and ready to go. So
yeah,
hopefully, whenever you guys are ready to let us in, we'll go over there and rock your socks off.
Hopefully in October, because that's when the dates are planned. So
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
Well, they're
Yeah,
talking
we
about
just
opening up
played
the
it.
border in the summertime. So hey,
It
hopefully.
just we've had a lot of dates booked in Canada, and they've gotten moved and moved and moved. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll
talking
see.
about this album, Hellbound, I mean, you guys are back working with Marty Fredrickson, who kind of gets Buckcherry at this point. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you guys have had success with this dude, and it's like, it's
Yes.
a great collaboration. Talk about working with Marty a little bit. What does he bring to the band when you're in the studio?
He's just first and foremost, he's a great guy. We really enjoy. We get along with him really well, and then he's super talented, and so when we go in there, we're like, we're bringing our A game, and because we know Marty is, constantly writing songs, so we're always on our best performance. I mean, we do that anyways, but like when we go in there, I remember Stevie and I wrote 22 songs together prior to getting in a room with Marty, and we wrote songs for 1 week with Marty, and in that week we wrote 6 songs in 5 days in Nashville, and 5 of those songs made the record. So that's how good the quality was, and the chemistry between us was, and we couldn't write a bad song. It was like, this is nuts. This is like, it just was meant to be, and I just feel like when preparation meets opportunity, we had been working that songwriting muscle prior to going in with him, and so by the time we got in there, it was like, we're ready. We're ready to work with the master.
Yeah. Is he a difficult producer to work with? Like, is he really pushing you in that vocal booth? Like, man, you could do that. Is he kind of like Mutt Lang you, or?
Oh, I think.
No, it was like the opposite. It was like, can you hear me?
Yes. There was a
Okay,
small
sorry.
lag for a second, but we're good.
You said if it was difficult working with Marty, and it wasn't. It's like the opposite. I came in there and I said, hey, listen, I want to sing within my vocal range. I don't want to be singing at the top of my range and just barely getting to notes, and then I leave the studio and you guys tune them and do whatever, and then I struggle live after. I don't want to do that. And he's like, I don't want you to do that. I go, great. So let's really find the right keys and all these songs. And he was with it. Like, for instance, there's a song called Gun on the record, and the demos, I recorded it like a whole step higher. And it's like, when you're a singer and you're in the studio and you can like just focus on one section of a song, you can just kill it, but when you're doing a whole song at the top of your range, it becomes a real struggle later on when you go try to sing the whole song down live, so so we would really work on the keys of the songs, so he would pitch down the song, a whole step, and then I sing Gun, and I'm like, this feels so good. It's in my wheelhouse. I can sing this, all day. And so we did stuff like that. And so when you listen to Hellbound, it's really in my comfort zone every song, you know, my whole range, my low range, my mid range, my high range. So that was really important. He's really great with singers. Um, you know, in the past, you know, he used to push me to do things like, you know, why don't you just sing it this way? You know, let's take out too many words here. Let's just, you know, you're
Hmm.
sing it less. And I'm like, okay. And I wouldn't understand it. And then we would kind of battle a little bit over something.
Yeah.
But now I've known him so long, I just know that I got to just trust him and
Mhm.
go through this process. And you know, really at the end of the day, it's the best melody wins, you know.
Right.
And so we had a few of those moments, and they always made the song better. You know, he's really got that little touch, you know, and he did that with Sorry way back in the day, you know,
Yeah.
just change little subtleties of that song that made it just huge, you know.
Hmm.
Let me just quickly ask, since you mentioned Sorry, you did the couple of acoustic albums or acoustic EPs that you threw up on iTunes and the streaming services. Is that something that you're going to continue doing a part 3 and a part 4 and a part 5? And will it eventually make it to CD and vinyl for us collectors who like to hold stuff?
I don't know, you know, I mean, that was a lot of fun. I mean, at that point in time, after we'd done those, I was like, let's do like a rock song and let's like change the tempo and let's make it like have more soul and be funkier, you know, like I wanted to do Lit Up, you know, acoustically,
Yeah.
and that was going to be the next thing. And then all of a sudden everything changed. Like it was like all our shows went away and we had to like regroup, and that was when it was like, let's make a new record. And so we shifted gears and started writing for Hellbound, you know. But yeah, eventually I would love to do all that kind of stuff, just take really select songs from records and redo them and make them cool. We did that with All Night Long as well. We re-recorded All Night Long for 11/7, the record label, for their like anniversary. They put out like they're putting out like some kind of compilation of all their artists. So we did All Night Long and it really came out cool.
Oh, I can't wait. The one thing that attracts me to Buckcherry is your voice. I like a distinct voice. You know, when I listen to Great White, I like Jack Russell. When I listen to Rat, I like Stephen Pierce. I like voices with character. And you have a voice with character. You can't be replaced.
Thank
Talk to
you.
me about your voice as you're getting older. Is it still the same instrument? Do you have to be more careful? Do you have a regimen that you have to do to get into that mode? Or does Josh just do Josh and that's it?
Oh man, I got so much going on with my voice as far as how I take care of it. And
Right.
I'm 50 now. I just turned 50, you know. So um for me, I got to work more, not less. Like the older I get, I have to work more to keep that flexibility
Right.
for myself. That means I vocalize every day. I don't necessarily sing every day. I vocalize every day. I sing every other day when I'm home, a full Buckcherry set. So the whole time I've been in quarantine, if I haven't been recording songs, I've been singing Buckcherry sets. So I'm like really
Wow.
fucking tired of singing Buckcherry sets with no people in front of me. But I'm grateful that I've got all these songs because I get to like really play a lot of songs that I don't normally get to sing live, and that's a lot of fun for me. But yeah, I gotta work. I have to because you know I started recording these songs when I was 26, and my voice is much different now. You know, so
Right.
what's good is I had to really work on vocal technique over the years. I self-taught myself all the way up to the first record and the first record tour, which was not a good thing because I had a lot of bad habits, and I had to really relearn how to sing once I started working with vocal coaches, and so I just became a student of the voice. And there's a lot more to it than just singing. There's what you're eating, all kinds of things, you know.
Yeah.
So
What were some of your bad
I
habits as a singer?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. And is it a producer that says to you, "Hey, that's a you can't be doing that, bro"?
I would really load up on air
Okay.
before I'd hit a note, and that is not good to do because that's how you slam your vocal folds together. You don't want to have a lot of air in your diaphragm when you hit a note. You know, it's all
Right.
about hitting a note with the least amount of air, and it's very hard to understand when you're out there and you're dancing and you're shaking your ass
Yeah.
and you're
Out
like,
of breath.
you want to hit like this big note and you feel like you got to load up to hit it, and you don't. It's like the opposite. So I was doing a lot of loading up. On my first record, I didn't have in-ear monitors as well. So I was blowing my voice out a lot because I couldn't hear my voice, you know? And so I would push harder to hear my voice, stuff like that. So getting away from that, and you learn that by doing vocal scales that teach you how to use less when to hit your
Right.
notes. So that was like something I had to relearn, and you only do that by repetition, you know. So I would do
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Then it was about like uh I stopped drinking any cold beverages live. I stopped drinking anything live. I don't drink any water or anything when I sing now,
Hmm.
which has made me more flexible. And it's like I hydrate a lot before a show, and then that's it. I don't drink or do anything until after the show, you know. And I used to take a sip of water after like every song. It was like this
Right.
nervous habit I would do,
Right.
and that was not good, you know. So things like that, you know, your diet, you know, about how, you know, when I'm on the road, I don't eat like 4 hours before going to bed. So that's why I get really skinny on the road, because I'm not only burning a lot more energy,
Yeah.
I I am like basically almost doing a 12 hour fast every day, you know? So all those things really help to have a lot of consistency at this age, you know, because when you're in your 20s, you're just bulletproof. You can do whatever, and
Yep.
your
By
voice
the way,
just snaps
how
back.
do you keep doing the shows? Because I've seen you, like the last time you came through Canada, I saw you, I think 3 times, and you still jump around like a son of a gun. You know, you're like the Mick Jagger of the new generation. At
Yeah.
some point, doesn't like your shoulder hurt and your back? Like, don't you have to just sort of just get a chair and be like Phil Collins at some point?
Yeah.
Hopefully not at that level. Jeez.
You know, I've been always an active guy since
Right.
I can remember. You know, it's always been good for my mind. You know, my mind is crazy, and if I don't work out, you know, I have to settle myself down, because I'm an addict. You know, I've been sober 26 years for a reason. My mind is nuts, so I have to. The physical activity is really good for my mental health, and then, you know, it's really good for singing. And I've always just had a really good workout regimen, like when I'm not even singing. So like right now I sang a headlining Buckcherry set this morning. I'm doing all my press. Then tonight I'm playing a 2 hour match of tennis with some kid, you know. And that's what I'm going to do, you know. And I'm just used to that. And you know, so yes, I do get aches and pains, you know. And the older I get, I don't snap back as easily, but I just work through it.
Yeah, you should have saved the Buckcherry singing for this interview, because if he sang sorry, Mitch would be creaming right now.
Yeah, I got to work up to that, man. It's a whole production.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you guys do come back onto the road, I mean, you guys are doing shows and stuff. Is it weird playing shows right now? Like,
No, I
are the
mean,
crowds
we've
coming
done,
out? And
no, we did about, I want to say we did like 15 shows in 2020,
Mm.
and we had to work through all that kind of safety protocol stuff. And then we've already done probably 7 shows this year.
Yeah.
A lot of them in Florida. We played a show in Sioux City, Iowa, outside of that in the country.
Yeah.
And you know, every place has different safety protocol, but we just
Yeah.
follow what we got to follow and show up. And you know, the good thing about uh
The stage is that you're safe on the stage. Oh,
as-
oh,
yeah, we're
hello.
safe on the stage, and plus it's getting hotter.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out for
Where'd I
just a
cut out?
second. You were on the stage and getting hotter. So hot, in
Yeah,
fact.
so
No
yeah,
hot.
yeah, so it's getting hotter, so a lot more outdoor shows, and you know, it's easier for people to social distance. But we got like such a great vaccination thing going in the United States that, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people are vaccinated, you know. Like
Yeah.
I went to a comedy show last night with my wife. We haven't been on a date in years, like gone out at night, you know. And we went to the Comedy Store. It was so fun. But at the front, they asked for our vaccination cards before we went in. So we had to
Oh,
show them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here
That's kind of cool,
we got QR codes on our phone, so we have to show that, which is kind of cool.
which is kind of interesting. Let me just ask
Yeah.
you real quick. Going back to the 15 album, you brought in Stevie D, and he's become sort of your Joe Perry, for the lack of a better analogy. What has he meant to you? Because Stevie has sort of cemented the Buckcherry, you know, sound and the writing, and he's the guy, right? Other than you.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand. Stevie's been in the band since 2005, so it's been a long time, and he never got the opportunity to shine. He's a really great musician, well-rounded,
Yeah.
like really talented guy.
Mhm.
So the fact that he didn't get an opportunity to do what he's doing now is just a shame. And so, but now we have the opportunity, and this is our third record we'd made together. And so we made Josh Todd in the Conflict. That was our first one. That was such a labor of love because I went back to my more aggressive roots. And I've known Stevie since I was 19. I moved to LA and
Huh?
I started working in this used clothing store, and there was Stevie D, and we became like super good friends, and we were like, joined at the hip. Then we became roommates, and so on and so forth. So to be able to make records with him like this has been just so amazing.
Yeah, you seem really happy and just you seem really passionate and proud of the work you guys are doing lately, and it's so nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, when you have a bond like that with somebody, that goes beyond just, being musicians, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, Hellbound's coming out June. You got to get it. It's available wherever music is sold. Are you guys going to do the vinyl with like the swirls and the gatefolds and everything? Or are you going to stick with Spotify? And
I got some vinyl right here, man.
Oh,
We got some great vinyl, but this is I think it's exclusively for the UK, Europe, and Australia. But I mean, look at this. We have colored vinyl.
ooh,
I just got these yesterday, but it's so dope. So there's
that is very sweet.
yeah, nice.
there's
artwork.
purple,
Let me just put my address in the chat. Hold on.
there orange,
Orange.
then we got yellow,
Nice.
and it's yellow vinyl in here. And
Right,
then
so
pink.
the color-
They're sold out of pink.
Oh, the pink is sexy. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, you got the pink in the background there. And by the way, Jeremy, you may not know this, but he mentioned Josh Todd in the Conflict. You have to go listen to a song called Rain. It's fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah,
It's an amazing song.
Yeah.
Those songs that you've done on the solo album and that you'll never cross them over into the Buckcherry world. You won't perform those because I've mentioned Circles before and Fucked Up and Rain. I mean, they stay off the Buckcherry set list, right?
I don't. Rain could definitely be in a Buckcherry set.
Yes.
I mean, it's got that vibe. I think it would be. It could add something to it, but it would just have to. I've heard people screaming that at me, like walking on the stage, play Rain,
Yes.
but we just have so many Buckcherry songs that we can't even get to, because
Longer
there's just
concerts.
there's too many. Yeah.
2.5
say longer
hours.
concerts, and I'm like, no, like longer concerts is great if I could play 3 shows a week, but I got to do like 5 shows a week. So
Yeah. Not only that, your voice would be shot, and you'd be dehydrated because you're not drinking during the show.
no, I hydrate really well before and after, but
Yeah.
it becomes challenging.
You sweat it all out. You're like the Josh Raisin after the show. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's so weird. I put on it's hard for me to put on weight, and I put on 5 pounds in quarantine. And then when after 2 weeks of being on the road, I'll have it.
Yeah. Damn.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, listen, Buckcherry, Hellbound, coming out on, what is it, June 26th, they said? June 26th?
25th.
June
my
25th.
friend.
June 25th, yeah. And So Hot is out right now, and Hellbound. So if you pre-order the record on iTunes or any place you get music, you can get So Hot and Hellbound right now. And then the rest will come on the 25th. But we're super excited.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing. I've had the link to hear these songs. They're fantastic, but I pre-ordered the Japanese version. 2 bonus tracks.
Let's go.
2 bonus tracks. I've already paid for it. I'm waiting. Bring it on.
Yeah, there
The
you
OBI on
go.
the sleeve. You got to get all of it.
I'm a
Cool.
completist. I need it all.
Yes. So am
I even have their Christmas song. Hey.
There you go. That is a great song. That's a great Christmas song.
Yeah,
It's hard to write a Christmas song.
it really is.
So many great ones.
I mean, come on. You just add some jingle bells to anything. It's a Christmas song.
No,
Not that
it's
easy.
hard. You gotta really work at it.
Dude,
To have a good melody.
That's what we do at the radio station. Christmas comes around for our traffic bed, for our traffic reports. We just put
Just
jingle bells
ching,
behind
ching,
it.
ching.
Now it's the Christmas traffic bed.
That's good. I like that.
Oh, there you go. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you in Montreal very, very soon.
Yes, you guys have been great, man. It's good to see you guys, and we look forward to it. So make sure you get your act together because we want to make those shows. All right.
Yep.
We gotta. I
All
will.
right.
I will let Larry know that those shows are happening.
And get Canada. I know Canada can only play so many songs that aren't Canadian bands on the radio. They got to play Hellbound and So Hot. So request
Hey.
those songs.
Jeremy, you're top 40 radio. Let's go. Make it happen.
Let's go.
Get it on. I'll slip you
All
in
right.
between Demi Lovato and Katy Perry.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
guys.
Have a good night.
Be
Cheers.
good.
See you later.